its recreational use, while others have decriminalized possession. Now, earlier this week, President Joe Biden announced a pardon to all prior federal offenses involving marijuana. He further urged all governors to do the same with state offenses. Among the reasons he outlined in his statement include the needless barriers to employment, housing, and educational opportunities caused by criminal records. He reiterated that these criminal records tend to mostly affect black and brown families and minorities. President Biden, however, emphasized that limitations on trafficking, marketing, and underage sales should stay in place. So not all good news for aspiring weedpreneurs. But let me start with you, Ruth. President Biden talked about the laws against the use of marijuana disproportionately affecting minorities. Why is this the case, yet we know all races smoke weed? There's no race that I know that does not smoke weed.
Some of my friends that I know who smoke, I actually know more of them than black and brown friends.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. Again, it's this society has been designed. We punish to a greater extent people black or black and brown than white, so to say. And also we get the severity of the punishment of the consequences. I think part of undoing those wrongs is maybe they're trying to, but I don't can I say something? Until we fix the criminal justice system, these things are just patchwork.
This is a band-aid.
This is a patchwork because look at the opioid crisis. Until it started hitting, more white people, that's when they paid attention to it. Just defining coke and crack, depending on who smokes it, and then those people got the worst consequences of it. Until we fix the criminal, and I understand what it is doing right now. I think it's going to help. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a patchwork to the real problem.
No. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, and real quick before Mika, you come in, Ruth. Saying this is a patchwork. The people who are also saying that this is, it's political. Midterms are coming up.
All of that.
Minorities, minorities are the ones who have their people in jail, and they feel like this is gonna help, get their people out of jail. So
I'm gonna ask, are we fixing the real problem here? Because as we said, there is no difference between Caucasians, white and brown people, Caucasians, black and white, black and brown, when it comes to smoking, or basically any drug, right? Yeah. But we get the most consequences out of it.
Yes.
Yes, and that is why when you say it's a patchwork, I don't agree with that, because if we look at it this way, number one, all those people who are remember, there are states which depend on prison labor as one of the biggest earners, right? All those private prison industries that harvest young brown and black men and women to work in those chains, all those people get to be released, right? He said he wants to pardon everybody who was because they get you with a small charge, a very minor charge, and they throw you in for 3 to 4, 5 years. You go to work for pennies for multi-million dollar industry. That's the reason why some states don't even want to think about legalization, because they know they're losing all that money they're getting from those people, from those prison industries. So all those incarcerated people are all those are people who are coming back with a clean state, whereby right now, when he does that, remember one thing that he said, and it was an issue that is affecting so many states, especially states that have just legalized recently, especially when it comes to job applications and testing of it, because yes, the state has legalized it, but then you find the state has a tender or has a contract with the federal government. Now they in a limbo, they're in between, because the federal government hasn't legalized weed, so they don't know what to do. Some of them have to let go of people who actually qualify for these jobs, but the only thing they have is they're failing those drug tests. So it allows employment of all these people. is a rehabilitation into it. Another thing that it does is it allows the banking, which allows making it easier for the reinvestment into it. Right now, the banking of weed is not handled by any bank because it's not handled federally, and banks are federally insured. Again, that gives it back to allow people to come in. Now, people like Black, me, and you can go in and invest in it, not only just these white people who can come and sum up millions and millions of dollars to set up a small dispensary. It makes it easier for people to be able to get money, to get loans, to get things, to come and get into this business itself.
Okay.
In that itself getting, so there are so many benefits that it happens itself, even without just, yes, I agree we have to change the criminal justice system in the country. I agree a lot of things have to happen. But to say this is just a patchwork, it's not a patchwork. This thing, forget even just before we go to the medicinal value or any value of people using the product itself, just the thing, the law of legal of what he wants to do, and he's forcing the hand of all these states that are refusing to legalize to go ahead at least and put into some form of legality, even if it's just medicinal.